What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and in this video we're going to talk about Darkest Dungeon 2's journey from day one early access to launch. So this is going to be going over all of the updates, or the major updates anyway, and kind of talking about the journey from A to B, because it's definitely been a journey. And the game was originally slated for February of 2023, but then they delayed it a couple months, and now it comes out in 2 weeks officially. Let's talk about where we started, where we went, and everything in between. We're going to go over some notes and the roadmaps and stuff, so stay tuned. We start off with this roadmap that had 6 major updates, and each one of them was really packed with content, and this roadmap was quickly discarded. And the other thing too, down here where it talks about implementing community suggestions, balance, quality of life and stuff, visual polish, there has been no shortage of that. There's been a lot of various tweaks to heroes and enemies and items, and it's all too much to talk about individually. There's been a lot of quality of life stuff, like making certain animations faster, making things, I don't know, less cumbersome to deal with, making inventory, you know, not as terrible to interact with. And so there's a lot of just stuff. In visual polish, there's a ton of extra graphics they put in, and animations and effects, and it's all been really cool to see, especially when you go look at from where it started and where we're at. So I want to get that out of the way now. But what we got originally was creature dens, and like the main things out of this was creature den and pretty much that, because I don't think I'm not quite sure what the roguelike variation improvements were. I guess it's probably just, you know, the randomness of some things. But this was the last thing we got from this roadmap before they scrapped it, and this is M2. This was the Shroud update in May of last year. It's like May 18th-ish or something like that. And so we got a new region, we got the Shroud, we got a new enemy faction, the Fisher Folk, we got a new lair boss, Leviathan, we got the Act 2 boss. I spoiled the name, I'm not going to do that, so let me cut that part. Story content, permanent hero upgrades. I don't know if we got this here, but after that is when they scrapped this roadmap, and what is left here just kind of got like recycled and moved around. And I shouldn't say recycled, but it got cycled and moved around, and that's pretty much what it's been since then. So what we have in the playable version right now is the new playable hero. This was Vestal. She came out in February. We'll look at her update in a minute. And then we got new cultists, we got cultist improvements, we got the relationship and affinity change. We didn't get this here, but we got it at some point. Story content and valley variation. They've changed the valley a few times at this point. And then we get to M4, and a lot of this pretty much this whole thing just never happened. We didn't get the new region, the new enemy faction, the new lair. And I'm not saying that in a negative context. It's more, they said, we're going to do these other things instead, because as you can tell from this doesn't look like it was anything else other than just, hey, we probably want to do this if we can, and it ended up not working out in terms of timing and the other stuff that had to get done, so it's understandable. So we still have 4 regions outside of the valley and the mountain, but yeah, most of this is non-existent except pets. Pets made it in, and pets are pretty cool. I hope we get more. I hope they get tweaked a little bit, because some are worse than others, to say the least, but they're all pretty cool and fun, and they change up your run, so that's really nice. Then we get to M5. So like I said, we're not going in order of these milestones, but just to show you what they kept, we got Flagellant. That was the new playable hero. Well, he's not in the game yet, but they announced him last week. Maybe they teased it. I can't remember. They teased it and then they announced it officially, like right after. So Flagellant's been known for a bit. We haven't heard anything about hero origin skins, new wandering boss. I'm assuming they say a new boss, so this is probably the one that comes with Flagellants, if I had to guess. I'm not gonna spoil what that is, but yeah, so new wandering boss. Act 4 we haven't heard anything about, because we're not getting any more patches till 1.0. like the game got up to Act 3 and it got Vestal and a couple other improvements, the major reworks, and then they said, okay, no more, and then we're gonna wait for 1.0. So we don't know what the Act 4 boss is, we don't know what the story content is, we don't know what the Act 5 boss is, and Oh, this was Bounty Hunter. Oh, crap. Okay, so I was like, why are there 3 playable heroes? I forgot about that. We got Bounty Hunter, Mercenary for Hire, then we got Vestal, and now we're getting Flagellant here at the end. But yeah, the driving and journey improvements, I was actually taken aback when I looked back at this update, and I saw this here, because I don't remember really hearing about this or talking about this at the time. But yeah, this came in March, so they made driving a lot more interactive, and it's been pretty cool. It came with pets. They came together. All right, so let's look at some of the stuff they talked about. So after they scrapped that roadmap, this is what they talked about adding. I don't think they've talked about anything else since then in terms of this type of content. But so we got cultist reinforcements. This was a cultist update. We'll talk about that. New progression system and new hero number 1. This was Bounty Hunter. This is Altar of Hope. So as you can see here, the progression system I don't think was even on this in any capacity. And then they said, okay, we're gonna change it. So that was them responding to feedback because people didn't like the old system. So we got the Act 3 Confession and the boss, and then coming after that, the Act 4 boss 1.0 relationship rework. We got this in November. It's much better than it was. It feels a little less center stage, actually a lot less center stage than the original system, where it doesn't stand out, but it also doesn't feel like it's eating up a ton of time on screen too. So it's something you care about, but it doesn't feel as much of a focal point as it used to be. New Hero 2, this was Vestal. Collector mini boss, we haven't heard anything on this yet. Surprised nothing's been data mined either, but there you go. Driving improvements, got that. New Hero 3, this is Flagellant. Secret mini boss, this is the one coming with Flagellant. Pets, we got these. Hero origin skins, haven't gotten this yet. Act 5 Confession. So they're pretty much giving us all of this. So what they what they moved from, and then what they said is coming by 1.0, they actually got there. So talking about some of it real quick. Shroud of the Deep, this place was awesome. This is the 4th region they added. It got a lot of love. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but food redesign. So food interacts differently. It's not just, I think you ate to heal before. It's been so long. Yeah, it was used primarily to heal at the end, but now it gives you buffs. Driving, they made driving a little bit better, but this actually wasn't the full driving update. This was just part of it that we got months later. Resistance encounters, yeah, there's various node balancing across the other thing, and then yeah, so we got hero HP. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Lots of random hero balancing that happened, a lot of monster balancing that happened, creature dens, and yeah. So like I said, it's too much to go through all of the improvements and changes, but we're gonna hit the major ones. Trinket redesign, this was a big one too. So they redesigned all the trinkets and added a 3rd path for every hero. And so when Vestal came, she came with 3 as well. She didn't start with 2. So that means that hopefully Flagellant has 3. Actually, it does, because they tweeted it today that he's going to have 3 paths. So awesome. Yeah, so we got a lot of new stuff, right? A lot of paths, a lot of bonuses, changes, and trying to look for all the big stuff in each update here. So hero shrines got adjusted a little bit. Some of them did. But yeah, so mainly trinkets. The trinket update was a lot of the trinkets didn't have a lot of interesting interactions with them or drawbacks and stuff. And so what they did is they went through every single trinket, like literally every trinket in the game. That's probably like, I don't know, 100 or something. They went through all of those and gave them all different effects. Some of them are still like a pattern of growth where it starts a lower tier, then there's a mid and a high tier, but they really did good work going through them all and making a lot of them, pretty much all of them, different and fun and interactive. And some, even the ones that don't seem that good, when you look at them, still have some pretty good niche uses, and I think that's really fun. So good job. Trinkets and Baubles update, that was a good one to have. So Shroud and the Trinket update were fantastic. We don't talk about torches and trophies because that one, oh boy, that one was yeah. But creature den was okay. Let's see. The next one was they just keep adding little badges. That's funny. Yeah, so the cultist update. This is a really cool one. And so I don't want to... a little hesitant about playing their videos. I'm not trying to, like, you know, infringe on content, but I think they're okay with it, so. They made a little, what is it? A trailer for this, which was really cool. So the new Oblivion's Rampart looks awesome. Altar, there's a new cultist enemy. This thing's a jerk. Then we get to see the Herald, which is the new cultist, another new cultist enemy. This is kind of like a backline support unit, which is awesome. So you don't have to face cherubs the whole time. Herald's gone through a few changes. Exemplar, this is the cultist boss that you fight at the mountain gate, essentially. And this was a really good update. The enemies are fun. They feel perfect, like they belong. And Herald went through a couple changes, but otherwise, the Altar, Exemplar is one of the best fights in the game, I will say. It is such a good fight. And, I mean, it might be, honestly. It might be the best boss fight, the more I think about it, but I don't know. So that was the Oblivion's Ingress update. We got this in about August, IIRC, yeah, so 15th. Bounty Hunter, sorry for the redness, that just... yeah, so Bounty Hunter got added with the Altar of Hope. Did he come with the Altar? Pretty sure he came with the Altar. But, yeah, so... or maybe that was Act 3. A Bounty Hunter is really cool. Some people don't like how he's implemented because he's a mercenary for hire. You only get him for a small, like for one region as you're traveling. But on average, he is way stronger than the other heroes until you get to like the third region. Then he kind of like levels out with everyone. But if you grab him at the start, he can really help you get through some difficult things like boss fights. And he's really cool. He's fun. He's very well designed. You know, he hasn't received any nerfs, any buffs. Like, they pretty much nailed it on the first go around. So, awesome job. But he gets his own trailer. It's 30 seconds here. Doesn't have shrines or anything, which I know people didn't like, but it fits for him. He has no past, no future. No mercy. It's a large lad. Pointing. Hooking, punching, chopping. Whoever does these trailers does a great job, man. Does an absolute great job. Oh, so this was coming soon. But yeah, or back then it was. And so we got this really cool art for him, and they explained everything about him. All of his skills. You know, like 7 of his skills. His 7 skills from the first game came back, and then he got 4 new ones. And trinkets and all the stuff you could ever want. And now we're at update 5. This is the Altar of Hope. Oh, this is when Bounty Hunter came out too, right? Because this was coming soon. Maybe Bounty Hunter came out like a week after, and then this came out a few weeks later. Yeah, but... so this is the new progression system. This map actually builds up in-game. Like, the more you add to it, these buildings start to restore themselves. So it's like you're fixing a broken world, which is pretty cool. And progression's been a sticky situation, to say the least, because the old system wasn't good. The new system has its issues, but largely it's great. You know, it looks cool. It's fun to put the candles in and watch the things light up and stuff, and unlocking items. Even though you're just clicking stuff, it's fun to click, and that stands for something, I believe. Progression system's been getting more and more added to it, and we'll have to see if there's more coming soon. TM. With 1.0. And so they stopped using this header, besides the Bounty Hunter one. At this point, they really started putting out more art for the game, which is cool. And so this is November. This is Act 3. This is the Obsession Confession. And I think that's all this was. If I remember correctly, they threw this at us pretty fast. They're like, hey, the new update is soon. Oh, it's tomorrow or something. And they just dropped it at like 3 p.m. or something. But yeah, and then they talk about... really? Hero goals came out here? Oh my god. So hero goals are, when you pick a hero, they have something they want to do during the run, and if you do it, you get bonus candles, which is meta progression. And they've been improving these as time goes on. But I'm surprised they came out here. Interesting. Oh yeah, and then we got sub-biomes. Alright, so the region variation was... they added a lot of environmental art to each region, so it's not literally the same thing for the entire pathway. You know, they everything has kind of a sub biome. So every other route or every couple routes or something like that, sometimes you'll go through, you know, in the sprawl, you go through a sewer. In the tangle, you go through like tree roots, and it looks really awesome. And they did a great job with that. So it's cool that they implemented that. I forgot all about that, because again, a lot of these updates feel so natural that it's like, I don't know, it was there the whole time. And in this case, yeah, this is one of those. Gameplay, new region modifiers. So when you pick a region, they added stuff, and again, more random balancing and tweaks. So that's pretty much in everything. And if you're curious about all these updates, you can go to Red Hook's website. I'll link it in the description, and you just go to the news section, and it's actually, can I see it? No, I can't go back. Okay. But you go to the news section, and it's literally in just every single article they put out is something like this. I picked the major ones. The void between us. This was a relationship, right? Yes, this is the one people wanted for so long, and they definitely delivered on it in a good way. So right before they took off for the holiday break, they gave us the relationship rework, which was really nice. You know, it's a good thing they were able to get it out before they went away, because otherwise it would have been, you know, the same game for another like 6 weeks or something. So this was great. And now we got new relationship stuff. Pretty much they made the mechanics less annoying. It eats up less screen time, but then they also made some improvements too, like with the graphics. So when the act outs do happen, they look awesome. No more front facing Plague Doctor, she's gone. And also they added like an embark screen that's really fun. You get to see all the relationships come through on that, and then they pop up and they buff your abilities. So instead of just all this randomness, you don't control people going, are my wounds not enough? And then, you know, getting mad when they're full HP. Most of that is gone, thankfully. So instead, the new system is if you have a negative relationship, your skill gets outlined in blue, and you're forced to have it equipped the whole time. And when you use that skill, it causes harm to another person. So like it'll give them negative tokens. Hateful can have your teammate backstab someone. And there's a lot of cool stuff. And then they have bless skills, which are highlighted in like the virtue color, and those do the opposite. They're not locked on your bar, and they give positive effects to someone when you use them. But this change was great. Here's the embark screen. This looks so good. Like when you come through here, when you're about to leave, all the side here lights up with the relationships you got. So that's cool. And then they redid a lot of the quirks to match this. And then this is something we haven't gotten yet, but this was a big story that made the rounds when it happened. And this was a very prominent Darkest Dungeon fan, Sammy. Very cool dude. But for his Make-A-Wish, he decided that he wanted, you know, a new enemy. And so he talked to the team. The team made it happen. It's not in the game yet. It's not going to come out for a little bit after release, but it is a really cool concept. And even though even though we don't have it yet, they put the gear that he has in the game. So we got leeches. Yeah, we got these. We got leeches, which cure disease. The Appalling Apron cures dots and gives you regen, which is nice. Spike Skull Cap is a bleed interaction trinkets, and then Bone Saw is a bleed item. It's a combat item. So even though we don't have the enemy, everything the enemy has equipped, because you can see all these on him, right? You see the leeches bucket, you see the saw, you see the skull cap, and he's wearing an apron. So everything this unit has is in the game, just not the unit itself. And it shows you all the stuff. I think the apron might have been nerfed. It might not have been. I can't remember. But yeah, all this really cool stuff. So that's coming later. Vestal update. So Vestal came in and she had her 3 paths. She came in with shrines. She came in with trinkets. She came in with pretty much everything. And Vestal is much more fun than she was in Darkest Dungeon 1. And if I have to be honest, she's not my first choice to return to the game, but they made her fun enough to where that doesn't matter as much anymore. But yeah, so she's not just, you know, spamming heals every single turn now. She has buffs. She has a stacking token that empowers her abilities. She has a lot of support moves. She can buff your allies. She can guard them. And when she has to do damage, she can do some decent damage. All in all, really cool character in how they implemented her. And it makes me excited to see Flagellant. So hopefully they do some cool stuff with him as well. We'll get to Flagellant here in a sec. Then we got the road update. This is the final driving update. Really cool picture here. I like the lighting and the tangle and the horses and stuff. So kind of wish I could get into Unity myself and make some of these, because these look really nice. But yeah, actually, yeah. Later stuff. So roads were changed. They're not just battles or nothing anymore. They have traps which can destroy your wheel tokens or your armor tokens on your wagon. And so those are new. Tokens for the wagon are new, and if you have the maxed, you get benefits. If you have the wheel tokens maxed, you heal more while driving, and if you have the block or the armor tokens maxed, you spawn with block in a battle. So that can be really helpful. And the roads have things that destroy those 2 tokens, battles, and then loathing. So loathing got reworked a bit. It's not just 5 that stacks up randomly or whatever through quirks and when you get to the inn or when you leave the inn and whatnot. Like, it's actually on the map and you drive through it. Like, it's a tear. It's like a tear in reality. And if you hit 4 stacks of loathing, it buffs the boss. So you got to be a bit careful. It buffs the final boss. So definitely want to avoid having that happen. Yeah, so this is Loathing 2.0, Valley 2.0. They've changed the Valley a few times. Infernal was disabled. It was actually not disabled for like 2 days, and then they disabled it. And I never got to play the whatever this version of it was, so I was a bit sad. But yeah, lots of adjustments, lots of fixes. Yeah, the road types and Wainwright maintenance. Oh yeah, so you can repair the wagon at the end now, which is good. And they made, when you get to the intersections and roads, the wagon actually stops, so you don't just accidentally roll through it, and it has either the 2 paths or the 3 paths, depending on what the fork is, and you can pick which one you want to go to, and you click on it, and it's pretty cool. It looks nice. So driving update was actually good. Didn't think I wanted it that much, but then it happened. I was like, oh, it was great. All right. Wrapping up here at the final character. This is not out yet, neither is Act 4 or Act 5. But yeah, so Flagellant got announced. Yeah, it was a week ago. Look at this. Okay, so I'm recording on April 25th. This is the 19th. So yeah, Flagellant looks amazing, by the way. So unlike DD1, he is more of a blight-centric character, and he looks like he's dead, but he's actually not dead. He's just kind of pushed his body to the limits of mortality, and it's really, really cool from these screenshots. Oh, okay. Guess we'll get the PC Gamer article. So yeah, I already made a video on this one specifically. Yeah, so we have his skills here, and they show him off. He looks really cool. And again, I talked about all this in a video already, so I'm going to go quickly over this, but yeah, so he looks awesome. Blight-centered, disgusting, really cool art. So always big shout-outs to the team. And they show a picture of the mini-boss that's coming with him at the bottom, but I'm not going to spoil it. So if you want to check that out yourself, you can. Wasn't sure if there's something I missed, but it doesn't seem like I did. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you're thinking down below. You know, if you're a returning player, you know, how does all this sound to you? If you are a veteran player at this point, you know, we just talk about your journey and what you think of it. So we're done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.